Alright, before this video begins, I want to apologize. I have butchered a couple of things in this video, just mainly I butchered people's names, pretty much like that, and a couple of other pronounces in certain words. So I hope you guys can forgive me for that, and hope you enjoy the video. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Today we have a pretty interesting topic to talk about. As you can read from the title, it's going to be about the potentially new Switch 2 being released. So, let's get started. It's been over 7 years since Nintendo announced the first Switch on March 3rd, 2017. The Switch we know and love now is turning 7 years old, and sales for it are going down drastically. Now, that begs the question, is Nintendo planning on releasing the Switch 2 anytime soon or even this year? Well, here's a chart showing the highest sales in a million units, the highest selling consoles in history. We see that the Switch is in third, but even after becoming the third best-selling console in history, with the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo DS topping the 1 and 2 ranking, there's no doubt in my mind that a lot of people love the Switch. But even the Switch needs a successor, something stronger and more up-to-date to keep up with the new games released for at least another 7 years or so. It needs a Switch version 2. Before we get into that statement, let's take a couple of reasons why I think a Switch 2 announcement is likely to happen. Reason number 1, as I said before, the Switch we have now is 7 years old. The Switch has lasted pretty much a really long time, and it did really good for all the games that it was able to keep up with and run, but it's getting really old and kind of outdated. Fact number 2, the Switch sales have been drastically plummeting. Here's a statement based on that recent Switch sales recently. So, to summarize the statement, it basically says Nintendo Switch sales have been dropping since the second year running, and Nintendo expects further decline next year. Basically, the revenue has been shot down from 17.97 million, which is the lowest, with the highest peak being 28.83 million units. Now, further on with my reasoning on why I think Switch 2 is potentially coming out this year, is because the Switch 1, which I'm going to be calling it, can't handle the new games being released right now. For example, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, overall to me, it was a very fun game to play, but my only issue was the game was very buggy, with a lot of glitches here and there. Now, I'm going to be fair and say that it's not entirely the Switch's fault, right? Pokemon probably just released a really buggy game, and we just blame the Switch saying, oh, you're pretty weak and you can't handle this. That statement could be true as well. But even so, I cannot ignore the fact that the Switch was taking a huge beating while playing Scarlet and Violet. Even if it was a game issue for the reason why it had these bugs and errors in the game, I still can't ignore that when I was playing the game, even sometimes for maybe just an hour or so, the Switch felt like it needed to breathe. Like, the fans inside of the Switch sounds like it was running in turbo mode. It felt like I wanted to rip the back of my Switch open and let it have another fan come inside of it. I felt like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet really pushed the Switch to its limits, and with all that I've seen while playing the game, I would say it's time for the Switch to have a upgrade. Now, my fourth reasoning that I have found during my research is I think the Switch 2 is coming this year, or more likely to, just based on this article that I read. Now, this article, it's pretty legit, okay guys? It's pretty legit. The title of the article is, Nintendo is expected to launch the Switch 2 console this year. Here's what to expect. Now, this article shows signs that the Nintendo Switch 1 shares are falling behind in sales, and that many people believe that it's time for something new. For example, in the article, it states that there are signs that sales are starting to slow and Nintendo needs something new. In its September quarter results, Nintendo said revenue fell 4% year on year and profit dropped 19%. I think the new device will come out in 2024, probably in the second half of the year. Shuriken Toto, CEO of Tokyo-based games consultancy Kantan Games told CNBC. The original Switch is now almost 7 years old. Sales are going down, so it's highly likely that a new Nintendo system is coming this year. Furthermore, in this article, it has been stated that launching a new console this year would be a smart move on their part, stating that launching a new console this year will also allow Nintendo to capitalize on the popularity of a number of its key characters following movie releases. The Super Mario Bros. Movie has racked in more than $1 billion in box office sales since its April release, and helped Nintendo seize a big bump in revenue in the June quarter of last year. In November, Nintendo said it plans to develop a live-action film with The Legend of Zelda, one of its most popular characters. Here's more evidence for a potential Switch 2 this year as well. So in this part of the article, I found that for this year or so, rumors have heated up about a new console tentatively known as Nintendo Switch 2. While Nintendo has yet to make any kind of announcement about a successor to Switch, there's a lot of evidence suggesting that it's coming this year. According to a source for Reuters, the system is expected to release in 2024 and will also feature a new custom chip designed by Nvidia. Nintendo Switch uses a Tegra X1 chip from Nvidia, so it wouldn't be too surprising to see the companies continue their partnership. The report from Reuters is in keeping with a lot of what we heard about Switch 2 so far. Reports last year began to circulate about a release in the second half of 2024. Rumors about a new chip designed for Nintendo by Nvidia have been bouncing around since at least 2021, when the Switch OLED model was assumed to be a more powerful version of the console, rather than the current system with an improved screen. At this time, official details about the next Nintendo system are very slim. The CEOs for EA and Take-Two have been discussed the possibility of a Switch successor over the last year, while avoiding any type of confirmation. In an interview with GameIndustry.biz last year, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick revealed his belief that the new system will be backwards compatible with the Switch current games. Nintendo has offered a couple of minor details about the company's next system, confirming that it will continue to use the Nintendo account system to make it easier to transition current users over. Last year, Nintendo President Shintaro Furukawa also revealed that there will be a shorter wait between the announcement of the new console and its release. When compared to Nintendo Switch, considering the new system is rumored to come out this year, and we still haven't seen an announcement, system design, or any games reveal, that does seem to be the case. Okay, here are some specs that I found that potentially the Switch 2 could have. Now, that is always the big question, right? If a Switch 2 is coming out, what type of specs are we expecting, get it, the Switch 2 to have? Well, the Switch 2 rumor specifics is supposed to have a CPU custom NVIDIA ARM SoC Drake T239, a GPU NVIDIA Ampere architecture, CUDA Cores 1280, with a display of 8-inch LCD, with a RAM of 8GB LPDDR5, and a storage of 64GB. Now, with even with all these specs, right, it's all good in theory, right? But the big questions at hand is, when will the Switch 2 be announced to public, and how much is this gonna cost us, right? Well, another article that I found stated that the Nintendo Switch 2 could be revealed as soon as March, according to current rumors. The handheld is expected to debut after April 2024. Nintendo hardware partners are expecting a big year, lending credence to the idea that the new hardware is indeed on the way this year. And the potential price of the Switch 2 could be up to $400. The price point is based off this statement right here. As reported by GamesIndustry.biz, Canton Games analyst Dr. Serkin Toto believes that not only will the Nintendo Switch 2 arrive at some point this year, but it will also carry a price of $400. But this is also good for us Pokemon fans if you guys play Pokemon, because like we have been clamming for a new Switch to come out for a while now, right? Because as we speculated that Pokemon Black and White is going to have a remake very soon, but we weren't sure if it was best to have the remake come out for the Switch version 1, just because of the big mess up we had with Scarlet and Violet. But I think that with the Switch 2 potentially coming out, I think BW remakes are looking more and more likely, and I hope it does hold up for this console. And I hope to God that when it does release, there are no bugs in the game, and that it releases for both Switch 1 and 2, right? Now, if it releases just for the Switch 2, that's gonna suck, but like, I mean, it is what it is, right? But I mean, this is what people wanted. This is what us fans as Pokemon wanted. Like, we always wanted the Switch. We always knew Pokemon Black and White was gonna come out, but the potential thing was like, if it comes out, right, it has to be on just pretty much an upgraded version of Nintendo, like Switch 2, just because like the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just was at this limit. I couldn't do anymore. Like, if you were going to do Pokemon Black and White remake on the Switch, I don't know how much it can handle it. But yeah, guys, I think that's all for the video today. I think I covered up everything I could on the Switch that I found recently. If you guys did enjoy this video and did like my commentary, even though I fucked up a couple times, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.